I'm definitely not going to be making very many food business friends with this video, but like you guys know, I am here to share information that'll actually help you feel good. I'm not here to try and please a lot of different food companies. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 10 different health foods that are actually pretty sketchy and are something that you might want to look into avoiding. Some of them are pretty surprising, so make sure you stay all the way until the end because there's 10, so there's a lot. And chances are you're probably having some of these already. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Autumn and I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition and human performance. It is my mission to help educate you on the ins and outs of nutrition, proper lifestyle techniques, just all these things that'll actually help you to feel good again, which is why today I really wanted to talk about all of these really misleading health food items and just debunk that. Like I said, I'm not going to be making very many friends with this video, so let's just jump straight into it. Number 1, margarine. This one actually is kind of shocking to me that people still consider it healthy. Like there's the whole Eva Longoria is like the face of one of the margarine companies, and I figured it was pretty well known that margarine is not good for you. So margarine is basically some type of vegetable oil. It's just, a nondescript vegetable oil, which is like, okay, well, which one? So first of all, already like, But it really became popular when saturated fat was first demonized back in the 1960s. So people wanted to have a non-saturated fat version of a spreadable oil butter thing. So that's where margarine was invented. And now margarine is just vegetable oil that has been hydrogenized to make it solid at room temperature. This is not something natural. Vegetable oils should not be solid at room temperature, which means that they are physically reconfiguring the chemical. So at the molecular level, they're literally changing these molecules into something that isn't naturally found in nature. So at first, everyone was like, yay, this is awesome. Until we realized trans fats actually were causing cardiovascular disease, along with type 2 diabetes. So I was looking into this and I found out that these margarine companies have now utilized a different means of changing these molecules into this unnatural form. And instead of hydrogenation, they're now using something called interesterification. Now, apparently this doesn't form trans fats. However, I'm still really extremely skeptical of this because we are changing something at the molecular form. And as we found out with trans fats, there's a lot of side effects that come along with that. So yes, it doesn't contain trans fats, at least in some of the newer margarines. However, I would still be extremely skeptical because of what we've seen in the past. So let's just learn from history and just ditch margarine right now. Okay, number 2, low-fat yogurts. So yogurt isn't naturally low-fat. In order to make it low-fat, they have to remove the fat in the first place. So considering there's only 3 different macronutrients, meaning protein, carbs, and fat, then when they remove a pretty major component of the yogurt, which is fat, then they have to replace it with something else. And in most cases for these low-fat yogurt, they're adding back in carbohydrates in the form of sugar. Now, fat is satiating. It helps to make it so that you're actually feeling full after your meals. Carbohydrates don't have those same satiating effects, especially when they're in the form of a simple sugar. So not only will you not be satiated, but you'll want to eat more often throughout the day, and it'll likely cause you to crave even more sugar. Plus, sugar has that anabolic fat storing response. So swapping regular yogurt for low-fat yogurt is actually working against your goals. Okay, number 3, processed vegan meats, such as the Beyond Meat. Now, one of the reasons why people see benefits when they go more plant-based is because they're incorporating more plant foods. Plant foods contain a variety of different micronutrients, fiber, all of these things that actually will benefit health. But when you're utilizing something like the fake meats, instead of a more plant-based whole source of protein, like with beans, lentils, peas, you're getting a much more processed food. And that means you're missing out on a lot of the benefits that come along with incorporating more plants into your diet. Because with something like these fake meats, like the Beyond Meat, it's using just a pea protein isolate, which means it's stripped of a lot of the other beneficial things that come along with just having something like peas. Plus, not to mention all of the other additives that are listed within the ingredients, including things like natural flavors, which, as we know, really aren't as natural as they are marketed to seem. So when it comes to incorporating more of a plant-based diet, it's always just best to get it from the whole source because you're going to miss out on getting any potential negative side effects of the additives that go along with these fake meats, and you're going to get all the benefits of the whole plant itself. Okay, number 4, low-calorie ice creams. So this is one such as Halo Top, but there's a lot of other different ice creams that I've seen that are in the market now. And these seem pretty enticing because who wouldn't be excited when you saw a whole pint of ice cream is only 280 calories? It seems guilt-free and that's really what they're marketed as. But these low-calorie type of ice creams really rely on sugar alcohols for the sweetness factor. And these sugar alcohols can cause GI distress in a lot of people. Plus, if you have IBS and even likely SIBO, then this can actually worsen your symptoms. Okay, number 5, prepackaged juices. So there can be be benefits from juicing your vegetables, especially because our farming is so nutrient poor, so it's hard to get a lot of the minerals that our body needs from just the food itself. But I also wouldn't rely on just getting juices because there are benefits of having the whole food in its whole form. One of the obvious things being fiber. But one thing I've noticed with a lot of these prepackaged juices is that a lot of them aren't organic, which means that you're going to be increasing your pesticide intake, and you're essentially just drinking like a pesticide juice at that point. And one of the main pesticides being glyphosate, which is linked to cancer. If you are going to juice, then you're best off either going to a local organic juice shop where they're actually making the juice right in front of you and you can see it and you see what's going into it, or making it yourself and getting the veggies from a local farmer's market. Because I also question the actual veggies that a lot of these pressed juices are coming from, even if they are organic, because likely they're coming from the mass distributed organic farms where they tend to be nutrient poor anyway when compared to a local farmer's market type of vegetable. Okay, number 6, prepackaged butter coffees. So you guys know I love keto coffee. There's a lot of health benefits that can come along with it, especially in the blood glucose stabilizing effects. But since it's become so popular, there's all these different products that are trying to take advantage of that. And one I saw is a brand called Picnic. And one day I was at Whole Foods and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Butter coffee that's just sold here. That's awesome. I went to check it out and there was sugar in the ingredients label, which I was a little shocked by because that completely undermines the purpose of keto coffee in the first place. So this happens a lot with food production companies when they see that there's a trend going on in what people want. They automatically go to mass produce it, but they want to create the product even more flavorful, which tends to be for them adding more sugar so that the consumer will be more likely to buy it and then continue buying it. And that really dilutes the message of why something was good for you in the first place, with butter coffee or keto coffee being the example. And in fact, if you are curious about why keto coffee or butter coffee is good for you when done properly, I highly recommend that you check out this video and go over all of the benefits of why it's so awesome. By the way, if you love the science-backed information on how you can actually treat your body right, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you're notified whenever I come out with new content that will help you to achieve your wellness goals. Okay, number 7, gluten-free cereals. So in the last 10 years or so, gluten has gotten a really bad reputation, and so people are trying to avoid it in general. And this mass avoidance of some type of food can lead to using way too much of another type instead. Plus, it makes it seem like just because something is gluten-free means that it's good for you, and that's definitely not the case. Sugar is technically gluten-free, but it doesn't mean that you should be pouring sugar all over your food. And with that in mind, a lot of these gluten-free products typically contain a lot of additives that will help to make the product have the same texture as the gluten-containing product. So it's much more processed than if you were to just use the original version. Plus, it's still cereal, so it likely contains a high amount of sugar anyway, and that'll just cause this crazy spikes and falls in blood glucose levels that will work against your wellness goals in the first place. And that leads us to number 8, gluten-free crackers or chips. Same exact concept. Just because they're gluten-free, it does not mean that it's healthy for you. And like I mentioned, these gluten-free products are typically more processed, contain more sugar, and have more additives in general. And that's again to make it actually taste like the original product that contains gluten in the first place. Okay, number 9, nut milk or dairy-free yogurts. So this is again along the same type of mindset as the gluten-free issue. You know, a lot of people are trying to avoid dairy because some people have some issues with dairy, or because again, dairy's gotten a bad reputation. But specifically with yogurts, one of the reasons why it's actually able to form the yogurt is because bacteria is feeding off of the natural sugars that are within milk. Now, almond milks or other types of milk don't necessarily have the same natural sugar that bacteria is able to ferment, which means that they have to add it in. So you're getting a lot of added sugars with this. You're also probably getting a lot of different gums and additives as well in order to make that same consistency that other yogurts have. So again, it's a much more processed product. I recommend opting for real yogurt, or if you're going the dairy-free route, look for ones that don't contain any additives or any added sugars. They are going to be a lot more expensive, but it's actually going to work for your wellness goals, not against you. So one that is really great and that I recommend is Coconut Cult. They're awesome, but again, they do tend to be more expensive. Okay, and number 10, you know a list of unhealthy health foods of mine would not be complete until I added in protein bars. I've talked extensively on protein bars and why these are actually working against your goals, including causing you to feel bloated and lead to weight gain. In fact, I highly recommend that you check out this video right here and go into all the detail on why protein bars are so terrible. All right, guys, that concludes my list. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe right here. I come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and I will see you in my next video.